Have you ever felt like you were different? Not in a superficial way, but deeply, at the core of your being? Perhaps you've wondered why you view the world through a lens that others don't seem to share. This feeling is not by accident. It may be a sign that you are one of God's chosen ones. To be chosen by God is a profound honor, but it often comes with unique experiences, challenges, and callings. These signs aren't always obvious at first. They unfold over time, often through moments of reflection, growth, and spiritual awakening. As you recognize these signs in your life, you may begin to understand that your journey is part of a larger, divine plan. A sense of feeling different. One of the most common signs is a pervasive feeling of being different from others. From a young age, you may have noticed that your thoughts, desires, and values don't align with those of the people around you. This difference isn't about being better or superior. It's about being set apart for a specific purpose. You may have felt like an outsider, even in familiar settings. Family gatherings, social events, or school may have highlighted this sense of not fully belonging. While others seem content with surface-level conversations or material pursuits, you were drawn to deeper, more meaningful questions about life, faith, and purpose. This feeling of being different is often accompanied by a yearning for something more, something greater than what the world offers. It's as if your soul knows that you were created for a higher purpose, even if you can't yet define what that purpose is. Reflect for a moment. Have you felt this sense of being different in your life? How has it shaped your relationships, decisions, and outlook? This unique perspective is often one of the first indicators of being chosen by God. Heightened intuition and spiritual awareness. Another powerful sign of being chosen is a heightened sense of intuition and spiritual awareness. You may find that you're more attuned to the subtleties of life, picking up on things that others overlook. This could manifest as an inner voice, a gut feeling, or a strong sense of knowing that guides you in your decisions. This spiritual awareness is not just a natural gift, it is a divine tool that God uses to communicate with His chosen ones. Through your intuition, He nudges you toward the right path, helps you avoid harm, and aligns you with His purpose. For example, you might feel compelled to take a particular action, even when it doesn't make logical sense at the time. Later, you realize that this intuition was God leading you to exactly where you needed to be. This sense of spiritual guidance is a gift, and the more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. Have you ever trusted your intuition and later realized it was God's way of guiding you? If so, you're not alone. Many chosen ones share this experience, finding that their heightened awareness is one of their most valuable tools on their journey. Unusual challenges and trials. Being chosen by God often comes with significant challenges. These trials may feel overwhelming, unfair, or even insurmountable at times. You might wonder why you face so many difficulties, especially when others seem to have an easier path. These challenges are not punishments. They are part of God's process of refinement. Like a diamond is shaped under pressure, God uses trials to strengthen your character, deepen your faith, and prepare you for the purpose He has set before you. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and unjustly imprisoned. Joseph endured years of hardship, yet every trial was a stepping stone to his ultimate destiny as a leader and savior for his people. Your challenges serve a similar purpose. They are not obstacles to your calling, they are preparation for it. Each struggle teaches you resilience, builds your trust in God, and equips you with the wisdom and empathy needed to fulfill your purpose. Reflect for a moment. Have you faced challenges that seemed too big to bear, only to discover later that they prepared you for something greater? These trials, though difficult, are often clear signs that God is shaping you for a higher purpose, a calling to help others. One of the most beautiful signs of being chosen is a natural inclination to help, serve, and uplift others. You may feel a deep compassion for those who are hurting, a desire to bring light to dark places, or an urge to use your gifts to make a positive impact. This calling to serve is not just a personality trait, it's a reflection of God's heart working through you. His chosen ones are often His hands and feet on earth, bringing His love and grace to those in need. Whether it's through small acts of kindness, words of encouragement, or significant acts of service, your desire to help others is a powerful indicator of your divine purpose. Serving others doesn't always look grand or extraordinary. It can be as simple as listening to someone who needs to be heard, offering a helping hand, or praying for a friend in need. These moments may seem small, but their impact can be profound. Reflect on this. Do you feel a natural pull toward helping others, even when it's inconvenient or goes unnoticed? This selfless compassion is often a hallmark of God's chosen ones. As you begin to recognize the signs of being one of God's chosen ones, you may feel both affirmed and challenged. This realization is not about pride or exclusivity. It's about stepping into a life of purpose, service, and alignment with God's will. Each sign is a reminder that your journey is not random. It is intricately designed to fulfill a greater calling, a deep sensitivity to the world around you. Many of God's chosen ones find themselves deeply affected by the world around them. You may feel the weight of other people's pain, the beauty in small moments, or the urgency of issues that others overlook. This heightened sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a gift. God has given you this sensitivity so you can connect deeply with His creation and with those He calls you to serve. You may feel a strong sense of empathy, often putting yourself in others' shoes and feeling their struggles as if they were your own. This connection allows you to respond to the needs of others with compassion and understanding. At times, this sensitivity can feel overwhelming. The problems of the world may seem too large, and your heart may ache for those who are suffering. When this happens, remember that you are not called to carry these burdens alone. God is with you, equipping you to make a difference where you can and to trust Him with what is beyond your control. Reflect on this. Have you noticed a deep sensitivity to the struggles and beauty of the world? How has this shaped your actions and your faith? A strong desire for meaning and purpose. Another hallmark of God's chosen ones is a relentless desire for meaning and purpose. You are not content with simply going through the motions of life. Instead, you seek to understand the why behind your existence and how your actions align with God's greater plan. This desire often leads you to ask deep, reflective questions. What is my purpose? How can I make a difference? What does God want from me? These questions are not signs of doubt. They are signs of growth. They show that you are actively seeking to align your life with God's will. The desire for purpose also means that you are willing to take risks and make sacrifices to follow God's calling. You may choose paths that others don't understand or give up comforts for the sake of something greater. This willingness to prioritize purpose over convenience is a powerful sign of being chosen. Take a moment to reflect. Do you feel a deep longing to live a life of meaning and impact? How has this desire influenced your choices and your relationship with God? Unexplained protection and favor. Throughout your life, you may have experienced moments of protection or favor that seem beyond explanation. Perhaps you avoided a dangerous situation without realizing it at the time, or you received an opportunity that seemed too perfect to be coincidence. These moments are often signs of God's hand on your life. As one of His chosen ones, He watches over you, guiding and protecting you in ways that may not always be visible. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or hardships, but it does mean that God's presence will be with you through them all. Psalm 91:11 reminds us, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This divine protection is not something to take for granted. It is a reminder of God's love and His commitment to fulfilling His purpose in your life. Reflect on this. Have you experienced moments where you felt protected or guided in ways you couldn't explain? How did these experiences strengthen your faith and trust in God's plan? A period of isolation or separation. Before stepping fully into their purpose, many of God's chosen ones go through a season of isolation or separation. This period can feel lonely, confusing, and even painful as relationships change and familiar patterns are disrupted. However, this season is not without purpose. God often uses these times of separation to draw you closer to Him. In the stillness and solitude, you learn to hear His voice more clearly. You let go of distractions and attachments that no longer serve your calling, and you begin to rely on Him as your ultimate source of guidance and strength. Consider the story of Moses, who spent 40 years in the desert before leading the Israelites out of Egypt. During this time, God prepared him for his mission, shaping his character and equipping him for the challenges ahead. If you are in a season of isolation, take heart. It is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that God is preparing you for something greater. Trust that this time is part of His plan to refine you and align you with His purpose. Reflect for a moment. Have you experienced a season of isolation or separation in your life? How did it shape your relationship with God and prepare you for what came next? The call to step out in faith. Being chosen by God often means being called to take bold steps of faith. You may feel a pull to pursue a path that seems uncertain or even impossible by human standards. This calling is not about your abilities. It is about your willingness to trust God and follow where He leads. Stepping out in faith requires courage, but it also brings incredible rewards. When you take that first step, you begin to see God's provision, guidance, and favor unfold in ways you never imagined. Each act of obedience strengthens your trust in Him and moves you closer to the life He has planned for you. Abraham's journey is a powerful example of this. Called to leave his homeland and go to an unknown place, Abraham stepped out in faith, trusting God's promise. His obedience not only blessed his own life, but also became a foundation of faith for generations to come. Reflect on this. Is there an area of your life where God is calling you to step out in faith? How can you trust Him more fully as you take that step? As your journey as one of God's chosen ones unfolds, the signs become more evident. They guide you, affirm your path, and prepare you for a life of divine purpose. Understanding and embracing these signs can help you walk confidently, even in the face of challenges or doubts. One of the most undeniable signs of being chosen is a persistent inner calling that you cannot ignore. This calling is not just a fleeting desire, it is a deep, unshakable conviction that you are meant for something greater. You may feel drawn to a specific mission, a group of people, or a cause that stirs your heart in profound ways. This inner calling often persists even when it seems inconvenient or challenging. You might try to ignore it, rationalize it, or delay it, but it keeps resurfacing, reminding you of the purpose God has placed in your life. This is God's way of gently but firmly guiding you toward His plan. Embracing this calling requires trust and surrender. It means letting go of fear, doubt, and the need for certainty. As you take steps toward your calling, you will begin to see how God equips and supports you every step of the way. Reflect on this. Have you felt a persistent inner calling that you couldn't ignore? How has this shaped your decisions and your faith? God's chosen ones often have a natural ability to inspire and influence others, even without trying. People may look to you for guidance, encouragement, or wisdom. Your actions, words, and faith have a way of touching hearts and sparking change in those around you. This influence is not about seeking attention or power. It's about reflecting God's light in a way that draws others closer to Him. Whether through small acts of kindness, meaningful conversations, or simply living authentically, your life becomes a testament to God's grace and love. Over time, you may notice that people are drawn to you not because of what you have, but because of who you are. They sense something different, a sense of peace, purpose, and faith that inspires them to seek the same for themselves. Reflect on this. Have you noticed your actions or words impacting others in unexpected ways? How has this influenced your understanding of your purpose? As one of God's chosen ones, you may feel a strong sense of responsibility to live a life that honors Him. This responsibility is not about perfection. It's about striving to align your actions, choices, and values with God's will. You may find yourself thinking deeply about the impact of your decisions, the example you set, and the legacy you leave behind. This sense of responsibility often leads you to make sacrifices, prioritize what truly matters, and resist temptations that could pull you away from your purpose. This heightened responsibility is both a privilege and a challenge. It requires daily commitment, but it also brings profound fulfillment, knowing that your life is making a difference for God's kingdom. Reflect for a moment. Do you feel a deep responsibility to live a life that honors God? How has this shaped your priorities and your faith journey? One of the most powerful signs of being chosen is an unwavering hope and resilience. Even in the face of adversity, challenges may come, but they do not defeat you. Instead, they strengthen your faith and deepen your trust in God's promises. This resilience is not something you create on your own. It is a gift from God. His presence in your life gives you the courage to keep going, the peace to endure trials, and the assurance that He is always working for your good. Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This truth is a source of hope that sustains you, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Reflect on this. Have you experienced moments of resilience and hope that felt beyond your own strength? How did these moments affirm God's presence in your life? Finally, one of the clearest signs of being chosen is that your life points to something greater than yourself. People see God's work in you, not because of your achievements, but because of the way you live, love, and serve. Your journey becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness, a reminder that He can use anyone, in any circumstance, to fulfill His purpose. Through your struggles, victories, and everyday moments, you reflect His grace, love, and power. This is the ultimate calling of God's chosen ones, to live a life that glorifies Him and inspires others to seek Him. It's not about being perfect or extraordinary. It's about being faithful, obedient, and willing to be used by Him. Reflect for a moment. How does your life point to something greater than yourself? What impact has your faith had on those around you? As you continue on this journey, remember that being chosen is both a gift and a responsibility. It is an invitation to live a life of meaning, purpose, and divine alignment. Embrace the signs, trust God's guidance, and step boldly into the calling He has placed on your life.